Hello, Farm Sim fans. It's been nearly a month since the last deep dive video into Farming Simulator 22 news, and we have some massive news to drop on you today. I seriously hope you are sitting down. If you're driving, pull over, because this information is going to blow your mind. Now that I've built up a completely unhealthy level of expectations, let's talk about what just happened. Giants just dropped a motherload on us. Production is in the base game for Farming Simulator 22. Say what? Can it be? It's June, so this seriously is not an April Fool's joke. That's right, folks. We have official word from the Giants blog post today that production elements will exist in Farming Simulator 22. Now, to the purest of farm sim players, this is total blasphemy, I know. Farmers do not own grain mills, they don't run dairies, they surely do not produce oil or sugar. Well, to that group, I tell you this. You don't have to use the production. According to the blog post, if you want to grow your crops and haul them off to the mill for sale, then you can just leave it at that. Cash out and move on. But for others, we can now have the option of turning that grain into flour. We can take that sunflower oil and turn it into oil. But the story isn't done there. Now we can also take that flour and oil down to the bakery, where we know it takes more than just flour and oil to make good bread. So we also need to send them sugar, butter, probably eggs, although the blog post doesn't mention that, in order to make the bread. Now, we just got started on an amazing FS19 map, Hoff-Bergman, with all its crazy production elements, and now we have the news that production is going to be in the base game of Farm Sim 22. Seriously, someone tell me this is not a joke. If this is a joke, I'm going to be very upset. Now, some players will want to dabble in production, but others do not want to commit to playing a logistics simulator. And for the blog post, goes on and says that players will be able to decide, does the mill transport goods to the bakery, or do you do it as a farmer? It's going to cost a little bit more for the mill to transport those goods, so you can maximize your profits by doing the transport your own, but maybe you don't have time, or just maybe you don't want to do it. So it does appear that at any stage down the production chain, you can choose to cash out and either tell the next leg of the chain to just sell its goods for a price or transport those goods further down the production line. Eventually, these finished goods will need to be sent to market for sale, at which time we can finally realize the best possible price for all of our initial raw ingredients. We can build our own production plants, the blog post goes on to say. It says there are a lot of new building types in Farm Sim 22. While some are already placed on the new maps and ready to take your goods to further processing, you can also build them yourself, making your businesses to expand your farming operation. Wow. This brings all kinds of questions about mod maps and how map makers can tie into the built-in production elements. And for now, we've got to tune into Farmcon Coverage on July 21st through 23rd. Giants will be streaming content on their official FS Twitch channel, and I plan to be putting together a Today at Farmcon wrap-up show every 3 days to cover what has happened. Tell me this did not meet your expectations with what I said earlier. Did this information not just blow your mind? Let's take a few minutes to settle down, calm our breathing, put our wallet back in our pockets because there is no pre-order information released to date. Let's take a closer look at some of the new images released today. I think we have a name for the American map, everybody. Let me introduce you to Elm Creek. Elm Creek, home of the Wolves baseball team, let's say a single A farm league team, plays ball every weekend at Redford Park. And from this image, we can see 4 trash cans, and guess what, folks? The residents of Elm Creek are proud of their little town, and they know how to put their trash in its place. Not like those nasty residents over at Ravenport. Other details to look at here is the brick texture on the building and the interesting weathering on the stack above the wolf sign. Now the second image is titled Cornflake Factory. Shows us Otis Cornflake Factory. While the first image might have been in late spring or summer, this shot is clearly taken in autumn. Looking around this image, I have to say I do need to have a talk with someone from the sanitation department because the manhole cover here needs to be put back on the storm drain. That is a huge pedestrian hazard. Other interesting details on this screenshot is that the glass at the top of the tower is clearly translucent, as we can see through the corner glass at the sky beyond and the dirt or weathering of the glass around the edges. Our third and final glimpse into Elm Creek is my favorite so far. We have a service station, Matthews 42. On the far left, we see what appears to be a large multi-lane road, and then some other businesses or side streets off in the distance. Bollards are protecting the poles at entrances, and one of the best details I have seen to date for Farm Sim 22 are the signboards. Welcome to Garrison's Gas Station, Car Service. Now look at this beauty. Old school letterboard sign with letters that are not quite spaced out correctly. The S on Garrison's is drooping a bit. I'm sure the lights come on at night. It would be really, really cool if one or two of those bulbs were also not working. When I first saw this, I asked Giants to please make a few versions of the sign so that not all sides of both signs were exactly the same. A little minor variability would really sell this sign as being the real deal. Maybe missing a letter or two on some of the variations. Most of this image just screams small town service station to me. Let's zoom in on the station itself. We have a big clock above the door. Let's hope it works like the clock tower on Erlengrot. And then some interesting signage on the window. Lux light and bell light. It's Bella time? Do those look familiar at all? Really great details on this building, down to the outside ice machine. Understand ice machines are kind of rare in Europe. And then we have vent pipes on the side of the building for the underground tanks. Giants really did their research on this building for sure. Now we move on to Morgan's Bakery. This, I have to say, might be on the European map, as the building just does not give me American vibes at all. Hopefully we'll have a variant for this on Elm Creek. We do get confirmation that there's at least 2 John Deeres in Farm Sim 22, as the Gator is back. We see a glimpse of our first finished goods in the bread in totes on pallets. Great details like the bread on the racks in the windows, views into the upstairs office space, or maybe it's a living space for Morgan. The image also appears to be set in autumn, looking at the trees. And then we have some nice hedges and fences, and a rather interesting road texture down by the Farm Sim logo. Moving on to the Golden Field Mill, I am at a loss if this is a European mill or American. It can go either way with me from this shot. The quick takeaway is we see the forklift is back. And we can also see now that we have flower boxes as a second production element on Farm Sim 22. This is also the first time that we have gotten to see the face of one of our virtual farmers. A young lady, as it looks, in the iconic plaid. I'm not sure, but I think this is a different face than we have seen in Farm Sim 19. I'm sure you guys will correct me if I am wrong on this. Other things to note on this image is the fine textures of the roof, metal siding, and the silo on the left and right. On to another production facility talked about in the blog post is the natural oils plant. An interesting chain link fence down in front, and we can see a double fence, so this might be a gate that opens and closes. Could we possibly have opening and closing hours for the production elements in the base game? On the side, we see what looks like a dump station with maybe again a door that closes when it's closing time at the plant. Lots of really nice textures and different materials used throughout this model. I'm thinking this is on Elm Creek given the communications pedestal and the transformer at the entrance. We see them a lot in the US, and I'm not sure if those are of the same design in Europe. And now a closer look at the natural oils shipping area. We see our third production element in bottles of oil. And what is this? Our virtual farmer is in a t-shirt and a jacket. Might that it also be a bit of 5 o'clock shadow on his face? Grabbing a sneak at the tree on the right, I do not think that's winter. So maybe it's mid-spring when the temps might still be a bit cool. The gifts just keep coming today with the announcement. We have some more equipment photos, and I start out with a beauty of a case magnum. Let's not spend all of our time admiring such beauty and instead look around. We have some really nice looking silos in the background, and look under the tractor. The straw swath. Moving up from that, we see an amazing mesh on the front nose covering the radiator, and then moving to the back of the tractor, we have our first images of a Case LB 436 square baler. I've got links in the description to some more videos of the real life Case baler. More wonderful equipment and field images. Now we have a Fendt 930 Vario, and we can see our second full virtual farmer face, and he has a pullover hoodie like the guy driving the John Deere in the very first images we got to see of Farm Sim 22. We see the back of one of those houses that we might have seen in the season shots from May. It looks like the same siding, and if you look to the left, you can see the same outdoor canopy. I'm going to go ahead and throw up one of the images that we saw from May just to quickly compare this house. We do not see much from the dark, rich earth behind the cultivator, but we can see some really nice looking dirt animations on the front. Our farmer in the Fendt makes a return in the Massey 8S 205 with what looks like white pants. This time we have grass windrow under the tractor going into the Pottinger Jumbo 10020 Combine 4-inch wagon. The deep green of the cut grass and the tire deformation on the Pottinger look great. Rolling hills in the distance, and on the right we have what looks like maybe another shot of the same large silo complex we saw in one of the first images of Farm Sim 22 with that big John Deere tractor. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw up another comparison photo of that early image that we saw, and then we'll jump back and basically see we've got that small building down by the power pole, and who can't look at those wildflowers at the field's edge and just smile. All good things come to an end, and it is just about that time with this video. We conclude our sneak peek into Farm Sim 22 with the Cristal Z-Tor 170 windrowing some grass. Again, our favorite virtual farmer is back. So far, I think this guy wants to get all of the fame and glory of Farm Sim 22. Now, a fellow ambassador pointed out when we saw these images that the Tedder appears to be of a Polish brand. This would be a new brand in Farming Simulator in the Smash, S-M-A-A-S-Z. And I'm going to leave a link in the description to this particular website so you can go check for yourself. So guys, sound off in the comments below. What do you think about what you have heard and seen in our third deep dive into the upcoming Farming Simulator 22? And until next time, happy farming.